You ever love someone so much that it's like when they left, they didn't just walk out the door, they walked out with pieces of your personality? Like they were packing for a trip and took your confidence, your jokes, your ability to sleep at night. You're just there, like, hey, I think you forgot your charger, and also half my soul. Yeah, this is the story of who I used to be in love with, and maybe kind of still am a little bit, even though I absolutely should not be. We'll call her her because if I say her real name out loud, I might black out and send a 2 a.m. text I'll regret. Again. And I'm trying to be grown. I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to pretend like she didn't build a summer home inside my frontal lobe. Rent free. Utilities included. It didn't start like a love story. It started like a collision. Two people crashing into each other at the exact moment they were both pretending to be okay. She smiled like someone who had secrets and laughed like someone who knew mine before I told her. Dangerous. That's the type of person you either marry or write a whole album about. Guess which one I did? Falling in love with her wasn't falling, it was slipping. Slowly. Like gravity had an attitude. Like the universe said, "Oh, you thought you were emotionally stable? Hold my beer." She made me feel like I was in color for the first time, which sounds poetic until you realize I was grayscale for years before she showed up. And it was good. Too good. The kind of good that makes your friends squint at you like, you sure this is sustainable? But you don't care because you're floating. You're invincible. You're posting cringe on your story with captions like, my person hard eyes, and fully believing you're different. Above heartbreak, chosen. Spoiler, I was not chosen. I was tolerated until I became inconvenient. And then I was slowly, almost politely, phased out like a song she liked once, but doesn't put on playlists anymore. I didn't even get a finale, just silence. A quiet leaving, the kind that doesn't echo until you're alone. I used to think heartbreak was loud, like shouting, crying, blocking, unblocking, blocking again. But the real kind, the one that stays, that's quiet. It sits next to you on the bus. It makes your coffee taste different. It changes your walk. You start apologizing in text messages before you say anything. You double text and delete it before sending. You get really good at pretending. People talk about love like it's this soft, warm thing, but love, real love, has sharp edges. And sometimes you cut yourself trying to hold on to it. And sometimes the person you love isn't holding you back. They're just standing still while you keep reaching. She never said she didn't love me. That's the trick. That's how they get you. It's not the I hate you that breaks your heart. It's the I don't know what I want delivered with teary eyes and soft hands. That's emotional waterboarding. That's psychological warfare dressed up as honesty. And you know what the worst part was? I stayed. I stayed long after the exit signs were glowing, long after the hugs felt like obligations, long after my own reflection started looking like a man, rehearsing his value every morning. I stayed because leaving felt like giving up, and I wasn't raised to quit. I was raised to fix, so I kept fixing, even when the thing I was fixing was killing me. You ever try to win back someone who already made up their mind? You start bargaining with God. You start sending memes with, "This reminded me of you," as if humor can reverse detachment. You post things hoping they'll see it. You change your profile picture like that's going to spark desire. It's delusion. It's a full-time job with unpaid overtime and terrible benefits. The wildest part? She didn't do anything wrong. That's what makes it harder. She didn't cheat. She didn't scream. She didn't hit me with a dramatic betrayal scene. She just stopped choosing me. Gently. Like turning down the volume until the music stops playing, but you didn't even notice when it faded. And I had to grieve that, without closure, without ceremony. Just me and the ghost of something that used to be alive. I started asking myself dumb questions like, what if I had been funnier? What if I didn't overshare that one night? What if I had been more mysterious? Like the guy in those movies who has a tragic backstory and smirks a lot. But that's not me. I love too out loud. I care too fast. I send good morning texts with heart emojis. I call just to hear her voice. I'm not built for casual. I don't have an off switch. And that made me feel weak. Like maybe being soft is unattractive. Like maybe love should come with cool detachment and a curated Instagram. But then I realized something. Or maybe I remembered it. There's nothing wrong with loving fully. There's nothing shameful about showing up completely. The problem isn't being too much. It's giving too much to someone who doesn't know what to do with it. There's a version of me that existed only in her presence. And when she left, I had to figure out who the hell I was without her reflection telling me I mattered. That's the part no one tells you about heartbreak. The identity crisis. The way your worth gets tied up in someone else's recognition of it. And how hard it is to untangle that when the applause stops. Healing wasn't pretty. It wasn't aesthetic. It wasn't long walks and inspirational quotes. It was ugly crying on the bathroom floor at 3 a.m. It was unfollowing and refollowing and then blocking for good. It was deleting photos and then going into recently deleted just to look again. It was hearing her name and pretending it was someone else. It was surviving. Barely. But still. And somewhere in all that mess, I started coming back to myself. Slowly. I started laughing at my own jokes again. I started sleeping more than 4 hours. I started dreaming without her face in it. I stopped writing texts I'd never send. And then one day, I realized I hadn't thought about her in a week. And that felt like betrayal and freedom all at once. She was a lesson, not a mistake. I don't regret loving her. I regret shrinking myself for her comfort. I regret all the times I tried to be what she needed instead of what I was. But love doesn't have to last forever to be real. Sometimes love is a chapter, not the whole book. And that's okay. People always say, you'll find someone better, but that's not always what you need to hear. Sometimes you just need someone to say, that shit hurt, and you didn't deserve it. So, if that's where you are, if your heart's still walking around with someone else's name on it, I see you. I really do. This isn't about bitterness, it's about truth. And the truth is, some people come into your life to wake you up, to show you what love feels like, and then they leave. And you get to decide what to do with that. You can close up, harden, become a villain in your own story, or you can learn. You can stay soft. You can love again. Better this time. If you're still carrying someone you used to be in love with, just know you're not alone. We all have that one person who shaped us, even in their leaving. And maybe that's the point. Maybe love isn't always about staying. Maybe it's about impact. Maybe it's about learning how to come home to yourself after you gave someone else the keys. And if you ever find yourself crying over someone who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared, pause. Breathe. Remember who you were before they named you beautiful. Remember the version of you that laughed without a second thought. They're still in there, waiting. And maybe now is the time to let them out. And hey, if this made your chest feel weird or your throat get tight or your brain starts scrolling through old texts, you're not broken. You're human. You're healing. That's a beautiful thing. Ugly, but beautiful. This was the story of who I used to be in love with. And maybe, in telling it, I'm finally letting it go. Your turn.